Okay, so that was easier than I thought it was to figure out. Once you go to your Lightroom app and you have a photo that you've either just taken on your phone or you uploaded to your Lightroom account from your camera or whatever, and you're ready to start editing, um, it'll look like this. So, a lot of photographers, what they will do is they pick a preset that they really like and they will use it on all their photos, like no matter how dark or how light. And that is how they form their style. So, like some really like popular photographers around here, you can tell that a lot of their photos, I don't want to say look the same, but they have a style to them, and that's what, draws people to their art. That's their brand. So, um, I use presets. Some people don't. I think that they're easier and they're a lot more fun for me to like play around with. Um, these are all presets that I have purchased. So like these are files. So like you go into the file. I bought these off of websites and you just download them. And then these are all like the presets that come in that file. So this is the one that I really like to use. This one. Um, I don't exactly like how it is as soon as I put the preset on it, but that's of course where like the editing part comes in. And you can even do this like without a preset. I just like the coloring and details that, this particular one adds, but you don't have to. You can edit without presets at all. So the first thing I usually always go to is the lighting, and the exposure is like the overall brightness of the photo. So a lot of these you'll just be like playing around with and you'll be able to see like go dramatic and you can see what it really like would do to the picture. Um, but a lot of them are just like fine tuning. So you're not going to be like cranking it all the way up or down. It's just like very small adjustments will make a big change in the picture. So like see how Grady's back like is like a bright white and it's really white, not a lot of detail there. So what you could do is like turn the highlights down and it'll kind of take some of that white away, like that halo-y white away. And you can even go down here and focus on just the white tones in the whole photo and take some of that away. But with taking some of the brightness away, you kind of increase the darkness in some areas where you might not want it. So like around his eye and his ear, there it's a little bit darker than I would like it to be. So shadows. Select the shadows and like you'll notice that these are already kind of moved, the little sliders, and that's because the preset does that for you. And then when you go back to adjust how you want it, like you just, you change it to how you want it. But the preset is moves these like before you even get to it. So if you want to go to shadows, you turn that up a little bit. And this is just to get, your desired effect. And then I still think it's a little too dark, so I'll go to blacks and I'll turn the blacks up. So turning it up makes it brighter, turning it down makes it darker. And then, like, I'm still not like totally happy with it. I will go like I like to go. This particular preset has a grain to it. Um, I I tend to not really like that. I usually take it off. So any new preset that I use, I check to see if the grain is on or off. And you can't tell that it really makes a huge difference. Maybe when you zoom in, you can, but like turning it down just makes the photo a lot more clear and more detailed, and that's sort of what I like in my pictures, but you can do whatever you like. And then I'll go over to detail, and this is where you're gonna get like the fine lines and the tuning, and I usually just use like the sharpening tool. And so this will make, like, if you look at his hair, it just makes it look a little more like hair instead of like that white halo that he had before. So sometimes it's easier to see if you zoom in, like how that changes things. Um, and then down here to detail, I'll zoom in so you can see the same thing. Um, I like detail. I like to be able to see like the little fine lines. Um, and then like this other stuff, there's no, like, it's not like there's no going back. So if I went down here to, some of these do virtually nothing depending on the photo. Some of them will do a lot, some of them will do nothing depending on how the lighting in the photo already looks. So like if I went down here, contrast is at 0. If I went down here and I just wanted to see what it would do, it doesn't really do much. Um, I don't, if I went to, oh, if I go over here to effects and like took the clarity, this one kind of can be a little dramatic sometimes. I'll try to make a note in my head of like where it was at. So clarity is at a -5. But if I took the slider and just like kind of played with it, and you can tell how it adds a lot of like blurring, or this is pretty detailed, a lot more fine lines. This is obviously like super blurred and less clear, if you will. Um, so just put it to where you like it. Just slide it until you get it to where you think it looks good. There's no, like I said, there's no right or wrong way, and you can always go back. Um, Dehazing is another one that kind of like will really bring out the darks or really bring out the lights. Um, you can see how dramatic just like a little bit of sliding makes it. So like say I was happy with the way that the background looks and I wanted to just focus on Grady. Like say I'm really good with the rest of the background, but Grady still looks like a little bit dark and I'm still not super happy. The thing about when you subscribe to Lightroom, you get this masking tool. So you hit the masking tool and you'll press the add masking, and then it'll bring up all these different selections. So if you were doing like a landscape, you could select the sky and it'll literally just detect like the sky in the background. It's pretty cool. Or you could use a brush. If you just wanted to focus on like one person's face that happened to be like really super bright or really super red, you can just like paint over their face, and then the edits will only go on that area that you've selected. But the cool thing about this new update is that you can select a subject. So this will literally just pick like the main part of the photo. I don't know how it knows, but it does. And like see how it has Grady highlighted, but it also has the couch highlighted. Well, I don't want to do anything with the couch. I don't really care that the couch looks dark. I just want to focus on Grady. Um, so I will go down here to the bottom right hand corner where the plus and minus sign is, and I'll hit that, and I'll say subtract from mask 1. So you could either add more to the subject that you're working on or take some away. So I'll subtract, and it's going to say, well, how do you want to go about doing that? I'm going to use the brush. I think that's the easiest. And then you just take your finger and you like paint over the area that you don't want to include. And obviously, like you can see, it takes the redness away, which is taking away the highlighting and selection of that particular spot. Okay, so now it's just Grady. And by the way, you can make the brush like bigger or smaller over here on the left by like sliding your finger. And these different tools are like feathering and I don't know, whatever this one is. You just figure them out like as you go. You play with them, see what works, see what doesn't. I've never watched a lot of videos on how to do stuff. I've literally just played with it, and that's pretty much how I know anything. Um, so anyway, like I said, Grady's too dark. So I go down here to the light, and down here at the bottom in the middle it says masking, and you see the red highlighted, and that's how you know you're just working on that one portion. So if I wanted to turn up like this for dramatic purposes, you could turn the exposure way up, and like you can see it doesn't change the rest of the photo, it just changes the subject. So you just kind of adjust that to where you think it looks good. Turn the shadows up. Turn the whites down a little bit too bright white. I don't like the bright white. And turn the blacks up just a little bit. I think that's a little bit better. And maybe I'll increase the sharpness on him just a little bit. And I press the check mark at the bottom right, and then that saves your masking tool. So now we're back to the picture as a whole. Um, say the other thing that I use a lot is like the coloring. So you go to the color section and like maybe you hate that the curtains look so yellow. So you could maybe go to like the vibrance and try to turn that down a little bit. Um, like for dramatic purposes, you could turn it way up and it really makes the colors pop, or you could turn it down and it really mutes the colors. Um, so that's a good one to kind of play with if you, depending on what you're trying to achieve. The saturation, again, is another one that really will bring out the dramatic colors. And then the other cool thing is that, like, you scroll to the top and you go over to the mixer, the top right, and in here you can pick, like, if you hated the green tones in this photo, you can go to green and you can move the slider and it will change just the green tones of the photo. So this makes it more muted, I guess, and like this would make it more blue. Um, you can just play with it and see what you like. This is the one that I think makes it pretty dramatic. Maybe not. I want it to be less blue. And then, like I said, the yellow. I don't really like that yellowy curtain. And like, I don't know what way to go with it that really makes it, much of a difference. So I just slide up and down until I get the desired effect, I guess. Um, the other thing I think I forgot about is this preset in particular comes with a grain loaded to it. And go over to effect. That's under the effects section. You scroll down. Oh, no, I already took that off. Never mind. I can't remember if I talked about it, but you scroll up and you can kind of see, yeah, definitely, um, how that changes the photo. Some people like it. Just I don't normally keep it on. I must have talked about it already because I took it off. Um, and then the other thing that I do a lot that really makes a big difference is the vignette. I don't really know how to say it. Um, this V word down here. Um, for dramatic purposes, I'll just show you like slide up and it puts like a white halo around your photo. You slide down and it'll put a black one. So the standard like it comes off as 0. But I think it helps a lot to brighten up a photo or darken it depending on what you're looking for. Um, and you don't have to do much at all. So if I wanted to brighten this up a little bit, I would slide it up just a little bit and it just adds like just enough, like see at the bottom left where it really brightened up um, the couch and you can see if I press the at the top this little reverse arrow, I can press that and it will just undo the change. Um, and then I can go back and put it on if I want to. So, I don't know, maybe that was kind of confusing, but you're welcome to ask me any questions. I definitely don't know very much. I just kind of, my best advice to you is just pick a photo that you think that you love and it's really good quality and upload it and just play with it and see what you like and decide if you like bright colors or you don't like bright colors and grainy or non-grainy, detailed or not. You just play with it, and it's a lot of fun actually, I think. Anyways, um, yeah, just let me know if you have questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. But also, um, YouTube is your friend, and the I haven't personally watched a lot of videos on all this stuff, but I know that there's like so many things out there on YouTube. It just gets confusing because they start talking about stuff that you like. They use all these words, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, my best advice is to just play with it. Um, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions.